Hi, it's Kyron from Opportunity International here, and today I'm joined by Jodi Koepke, who is our next speaker in the Inspired Speaker Series on the 12th of February. Jodi, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
How did I go getting your last name right? Was I close?
That was pretty close.
Okay, thank you for your grace with that. Jodi is the Managing Director of MOPS Australia. She's an author, she's a speaker, and it's going to be a fantastic night on the 12th. But can you just unpack MOPS Australia for us a little bit?
Absolutely. So MOPS stands for Mothers of Preschoolers. So that doesn't mean your kid has to be in preschool, as in pre-primary, but basically we cater for mums with kids 0 to 6 primarily. And our heart is to come alongside churches and other organisations who want to provide a space for the women in their community to connect, to be equipped and encouraged. And we do this by running a mothers group that's focused purely on the mums. So the kids get taken care of in a kids program, which we love. The mums love a couple of hours kid-free time. That is our big selling point. And so we provide all the leadership training and resources and help these organisations to actually run the groups for themselves and reach their mums and their community.
That sounds great. I love what that organisation does. And also, you're an author. You've written a book.
A book.
Can you...
Yes.
Oh, here it is. We found it. Can you tell us about the book, please?
Yeah, so it's called Stepping Up in Leadership, Reflections from the Journey. And it looks at this journey that I've been on, primarily with MOPS in my leadership, and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. I call it my leadership book for women who don't really think that they're leaders, because that was me for so long. Trying to own that label of leader and own that identity and actually step into that and walk in that is a challenge. It's really hard. And so that's some of the things that I tackle in the book and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. And a major focus of it is this idea of self-leadership.
Yeah.
Because how we're leading ourselves in all areas of our life has such a massive impact on how we can lead other people. And so that's really where it starts for me in my journey and where I've helped other people to see that as well. And I say it's for women. It's who I wrote it for.
I'm resonating with it, right? Like I'm going, there's so much in there which is so connected to just people's journey in general. So that's really valuable.
Absolutely. So I have had some men get on board with it and love it as well. But that's the story of the book.
Excellent, thank you. So the 12th of February you are speaking to us.
Yes.
What can we expect from you on that night?
Yeah. So the title of the talk is Do It Scared. And it's always hilarious when you've got something like this that you're preparing for. You can guarantee that you're going to have to remind yourself of this.
Yes.
Frequently.
Listen to the content so that I know and can learn.
I'm sort of like prepping and going, oh yes, that's right, I need to remember that. So the concept of it is looking at fear and what fear is, because fear is actually normal. Like, we're supposed to be scared of some things. That's actually quite normal, and it has a purpose and a role.
Yeah.
But it's that point where fear stops us from living our life. Like, there's a role for fear when we're in danger, and we actually need to address some things. But the problem is when we start seeing that danger in everything.
Wow.
And it's looking at these 4 foundational areas of fear that I have come across, and that's the fear of what other people think.
Yep.
Fear of discomfort, fear of the unknown, and fear of not being in control.
Yep.
And this idea has really helped me in looking at fear and kind of taking this long list of worries and kind of distilling it down and kind of go, okay, what's actually happening here? Because then you can find the right tools in your toolbox to address that fear. So that's been really helpful for me in my journey. So I'll look at that a little bit, and then I call it a toolbox for doing it scared. So I have some strategies and ideas of things that can help you in that journey, but then looking at how at the end of the day we actually just have to do it scared.
Just got to do it, yeah. And I do like the idea of unpacking the fears and kind of going, okay, that's where that one particular fits. Because if you can name it, then all of a sudden it actually loses a lot of its power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's really good. Looking forward to that on the 12th. So another question that I generally ask people is, what is it that you are passionate about? What drives you? What motivates you?
My big passion, apart from being a mum, I have a beautiful 8-year-old little girl, being a wife and all these things, my big passion is seeing women being able to step up in leadership and really be equipped in that space. That's my passion. That's what gets me excited. When I'm writing and doing all these bits and pieces and doing the admin and answering emails and all these things that come up, that's really the why behind it. Is there are so many women out there that I think if you just owned that identity and took that step forward, our world and our community would be a better place. And all the research supports that. You know, you equip women, Opportunity International, like preaching to the converted. You know, that's what you guys do, and that's why, you know, when you asked if I would speak, I'm like, yes. Like, I love what you guys do, and that equipping the women in the community to be able to, you know, be self-sufficient and earn their income and break out of that cycle. That's just so much in line with where I'm passionate and my heart. So
it's great. And so it seems to me that you see the world of what it could be. So you see people for what they could be, their potential, what is possible, and that kind of drives you to push.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great. Now the tough one. Tell me about a time when you have made a big mistake.
I can tell you one from Monday.
Yeah, great. Awesome.
So as well as managing director of MOPS and my writing and things, I do currently work for a school as well. And I'm in a sort of a back area support nowadays. I used to teach for them, and I oversee our online staff training system. And I was updating it for 2020. Great. We've had some sort of code changes in what we refer to different regions and campuses. I'm like, great, no problem. So put this whole spreadsheet, upload it to the system, and realised that because I've changed things, the automatic criteria I had set up for people to be enrolled in the courses and their inductions and all that, it automatically unenrolled everybody.
Brilliant.
From everything.
Yes.
And so now I'm suddenly, my next job was to pull down all these lists of people who are overdue in their inductions to follow up, and I'm suddenly like, gee, we're doing really well.
Everyone.
No, we really weren't. And so I then had to send out an email to all of the regional principals. There's 4 of them, and our CEO and our director of corporate services and all these other people going, this is what I've done. This is who it's affected. This is the implications of it. I'm really sorry.
Yes.
This is how I'm trying to fix it. What else can I do for you? Thankfully, once I had it all sorted, we realised that people's completion of courses hadn't been lost altogether.
Great, yes.
So
haven't ruined the whole system.
But I've had a lot of emails and calls going, why am I suddenly re-enrolled in this course, and why do I have to do this again?
And so what I'm really curious about in that is what's your internal monologue like in those moments?
I can tell you what I default to.
Yes.
And then what I've learned.
Yes, yep.
So my default is, oh, you're an idiot. Like, you should have seen this coming. You're going to be in so much trouble. This is going to cause so much issue. So my personality type, I don't like conflict, and I don't like getting in trouble. Those are my big areas. So of course, when something like this happens and it affects the entire company, and it has potential implications on, like, we're up for re-registration this year and we have to prove who's completed things, like, it could have potentially been really bad. So inside, I'm just like, this is the end of the world. Like, this is the biggest mistake.
There's nowhere to hide.
Nowhere to hide. But it's sort of working through that and kind of going, instead of panicking and going off into like, you know, the massive overreaction, let's take a breath, let's calm down. And it's working through that process of, I'm going to own it. I'm not going to try and hide it and go, oh, it's a system glitch. I could do that. No one else works on the system. I could quite legitimately have done that. But that doesn't sit well with my integrity. That's not who I am. So it's owning the mistake, taking the steps that I can to fix it, apologising for it, and then working through, okay, how can I make this better? What can I do to make this up to you? How can I fix this, basically? And that's what I did, and it's still working through, and it's still that, I should have seen that coming, I should have anticipated it, but then it's also looking at, okay, what can I learn from this? So next time I'm doing something, how could I actually mitigate that? and I'm in the process of handing that job over to someone. So I'm like, okay,
Here's
let's
what
do
I've
some
learned.
work. Don't make this mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
There's a whole lot of growth in that, and a whole lot, like I would consider some quality relationships that get built as a result, where you have taken ownership, and then tried to, well, not pass the buck, but actually create a way forward and go, this is what I'm doing to fix the problem.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. So
I'm sure I could come up with.
yeah, we're just getting started. But you can hear more from Jodi on the 12th of February. We'll be at the platform on that Wednesday night starting at 5:30. You can grab tickets at the link with this video, and we would definitely love to see you there, and you will get a whole lot out of it, I can guarantee it. So Jodi, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No problems.